Welcome back to the Money Script Podcast. It's your host, Yo. How's everybody doing out there? It's a beautiful spring all across the northern hemisphere, which means storms where I'm here in Texas. So if all of a sudden everything just goes dark and you don't hear anything, we'll be back. That just means a storm popped up and I had to go hide under a table or something like that. It has been such an amazing month of May. I am really looking forward to the summer. I mean, we're all starting to go back outside again. We got shots in arms in a lot of people, so the COVID can't get us. And that is just that's making me happy. That's making me excited. I cannot wait to get on a plane and go somewhere and do something and not just be stuck in the house all the time. But today I am still stuck. Well, I'm not stuck in the house, but I am in the house because I'm in the stew. And I am here with the amazing Tonya Rapley of My Fab Finance. Did I get that right? My Fab Finance? Yeah. Oh, I did. Okay. Man, I'm so excited to have you here with me. If you have not gone to myfabfinance.com to learn about how you can get your finances fabulous, please, well, if you're driving, don't do it right now. But as soon as you get home, just sit down and I'm going to let her tell you all about it. It's an incredible site. Anyways, no further ado. Tonya, how are you?
I'm good. I am good. Thank you for that warm introduction. I'm well.
You're welcome. I am available for your parties, celebrations. Anytime you need me to come introduce you, I'm here.
I'll note that and I'll let my team know.
There you go. If you need
I got people to talk to my people.
There you go. That works for me. So tell us about My Fab Finance. Where did it come from?
Yeah, My Fab Finance came out of the realization that a lot of my peers were not making financially wise decisions back when I got started around 2012. And the resources that were available were so out of touch with who we were. It was like Dave Ramsey and there's Michelle Singletary and Susie Orman, who are all wonderful, but I'm an older millennial. At that point, I was in my late 20s. And I was I still want to live my life. Why does it seem like in order to enjoy life, I have to be frugal Freddy or whatever? And so My Fab Finance came out of that, just the desire to be financially secure and inspire others to do the same.
So you mentioned some of those other heroes of the financial industry. What stood out to you that they weren't getting about you? Or shall I say even us?
We were still recovering from the first recession. I graduated from college at the height of in 2007. Recession happened in 2008. I started my professional life out being laid off from my first two jobs outside of college. I never even got the chance to get on a solid foundation. And so these other things that people were doing, I started with debt because I had student loan debt. And then I didn't have a financial footing or the opportunity to get ahead financially because the economy collapsed. And so they didn't understand that we were starting from a different starting space, as well as the role in which technology played in our experience. By that time, MySpace had fizzled out, but Twitter was just taking off. Facebook was a thing at that point. Instagram was just on the horizon. And they didn't have understanding of the role that technology played in our life experience and that we wanted to do things differently. We don't want to wait until we're 40 years old to enjoy our life. Well, not even 40. We don't want to wait until we're 50 and 60 to enjoy our lives. We want to make financially wise decisions now, but we also want to enjoy our lives now. And I think that when I think about my parents who were in the military and retired after 20 years, it was almost like I watched them kind of hold their breath on living until they retired. When I retire, and it was this countdown. It's no, I don't want to live like that. I want to live my life now and make financially wise decisions so that I can enjoy retirement. But I don't want to wait until retirement to start living. And I think they needed to understand that about our generation.
I love it. Yeah, I'm a firm believer of trying to retire the word retirement, because I don't believe that our generation, especially, is looking forward to the same retirement that our parents or grandparents may have been looking forward to. It's like, oh, that point where I just stop working. I know lots of individuals, me included, I don't plan to ever stop working. I enjoy what I do. I love it. I do want to have financial independence, though. I do want to have the point in time where I can say, you know what? I don't want to be in the office 40 hours a week. And I have the financial independence, enough financial stability that if I'd say, you know, I'm only going to work Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays from now on, that's what I want. I still will want to work those 3 days, but those other 4 days out the week, oh, it's long weekends every weekend. And I think that's a different understanding of retirement, or a different understanding of the lifestyle while continuing to do what I love.
Yeah, and for them to be optional, for it to be optional. That's the thing, is that a lot of times it's not optional. We want it to be optional. We want it to be, if I want to work, I work. If I don't, okay, cool.
I like that. I like that. So tell us about the birth of MyFab Finance. So you saw there was a empty lane, and you decided to put your car in it and full steam ahead. So tell us how did that, what happened? What did you do first, and how did you start working with your peers?
Yeah, well, I became my first client first. Like, that was the thing. I started out as my own client and getting my life together and understanding the work that needed to be done. And I started a blog, just really documenting my process and sharing my journey. And then as I started doing that, I realized, oh, I enjoy sharing this with others. Okay, let me go become certified to teach this. Let me go become a certified financial education instructor. At that time, I was also enrolled in my master's degree. So I was getting a master's degree in urban policy and affairs, as well as pursuing my certificate in financial education. And once I got that certificate, I started taking on clients and working with other people and being consistent with creating content for the blog. Early on, I was the only person writing on the site. And just growing from there. But then also, before I started MyFab Finance, what actually took me to New York City in 2008, 2009, I had a music blog. And I never fully monetized that music blog. I never ever monetized it. Like, I didn't make one dime off the music blog. And I was like, this is not going to be MyFab Finance. So once I realized that I wanted to make something out of MyFab Finance, I started studying how people were generating income with their blogs, and how you run a blog as a business, and how it becomes an asset and not a liability, and how it sustains itself. So outside of learning how to teach people, I learned how to create a business infrastructure for MyFab Finance that allowed me to eventually go full time in 2015.
Wow. Hats off to that. Full time. And for the last, what is that, 6 years now?
Yeah, I have been full time in MyFab Finance since 2015. So yeah, 6 years.
So share with the people, what are some strategies for those that have some blogs? And we've had a few individuals reach out to us about our blog and starting their own blog. What are some strategies for that person that maybe has the full-time job, but just has a passion for something, likes writing about it, to start monetizing?
Everybody is going to have different business models. And right now we're in the process of tweaking the MyFab Finance business model, because what I want to do is make it more of a content hub. But you decide, you want to find out what are things that you can get paid to do. Early on, I knew that we weren't going to make a lot of money, like with AdSense. That wasn't going to be sufficient enough. But I knew people who were sustaining themselves with affiliate partnerships, where they were advertising credit cards and different things like that. I didn't feel comfortable with that when I got started with MyFab Finance, because at that stage of my journey, I didn't understand how to leverage debt. I was more so anti credit cards, instead of understanding how to strategically use credit cards. So that wasn't a part of my process. But coaching individuals. So myself as a service, the blog was essentially my business card. The blog attracted people to me. And then I had services outside of that. So one-on-one coaching at that time. I also offered, I had PDFs and downloads at that time. I did a boot camp, which actually brought back my boot camp this year, but I did a boot camp. Other revenue streams included writing for other entities, writing for other more established blogs and platforms. And then the influencer stuff came along. And when I was able to position myself as a financial influencer, that is when everything changed. That's when I hit my first six-figure year.
Wow. Wow. That's incredible. Now, the six-figure year, it came from just your influencer, or was that combined with your clients and the blog altogether?
The first year, it was combined with everything. It was influencer relationships. At that time, I was producing personal finance events for companies. So working with them in my blogging network, and would create events, and they would pay us to put together these events, bringing together personal finance influencers. Public speaking was part of that revenue. And then the sales of my super fab financial planner was also in that amount.
What's a super fab financial plan? I didn't get to that part of your website. What is that?
Yeah, well, it's not on the website anymore. It's available on
Okay.
Amazon because when we initially launched it, we were mailing them out ourselves. And I was like, I can't be running to the post office every 3 days to ship these out. So we've taken it down now to look for a new vendor that can ship them out for us. But the Superfab Financial Planner is a financial organizer. And really, when we got started, there weren't any out there, but now quite a few people have launched their own financial organizer and journal. But it was the way people love journaling. It was spoken agendas. It was specifically for your personal finances.
It's funny that you mentioned that. We are working on a money script journal right now. Like, I just reviewed some more images of it the other day, and I didn't even know. Like you said, there's not a lot out there when it comes to financial journals and financial organizers. Not again, I'll say there's not a lot out there that are for the younger generation that knows how to understand the technology that's out there. I mean, I would still find financial journals that have a check register in it. And like, half my clients have never written a check.
Right.
So it's like, they're like, well, what do I do with all this space? And it's like, I don't know. It's like, am I really going to write down all my debit transactions? No, you're not. So finding a different way to journal, where we ask the question in our journal, have you logged in to all of your websites, your financial websites, to view your transactions? So you're just more of checking a box or filling in a number. How much was your discretionary spending this month, or how much was your required spending this month, instead of trying to write down all those transactions? Because who can do that anymore with, the Square or Cash App and Venmo and PayPal and all the different ways that we can spend our money. Writing all that stuff down would drive me crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's one of the things we had in there. It was like how to keep all your accounts together.
I like it. I did have the chance to read a couple of your blogs before our show, and I wanted to speak a little bit about the food. One of the food blogs that you put up around how to, I think, is it dine in at home or something? I can't remember the exact topic, but you even listed like staples that you should have in your pantry, in your cabinet, in your fridge, so that it can help you start to spend less money dining out and know some simple meals that you can cook at home. How did you discover your inner chef, so to speak, to be able to do that?
Yeah. I mean, when I got started with my Fab Finance, I was living in New York making $13,000 a year because I was working as at a nonprofit as an AmeriCorps employee. So I got familiar with cooking then. Like, I learned different things that I could cook. And now it wasn't the healthiest stuff, but I got familiar with cooking then. And as I progressed in my journey, just realizing that a lot of the money that I was spending was going towards food, and was like, okay, how can we get ahead of this, and how can we create things that we enjoy at home? So played around with some meal kits a couple of times, learning how to combine different ingredients or different flavor profiles, allowing myself to be more adventurous in what I was raised cooking, because my mom was from the South. So it was like, we use Lowry's and it's in gravy. That's what we do.
I'm from North Carolina. I get it.
Yeah. So it expanded my food repertoire. But then also at the top of the pandemic last year, I started having autoimmune issues and started working with a functional practitioner. And we cleaned my diet completely up. I wasn't able to eat out. I had to prepare all my food because I wasn't able to eat any processed food. Everything had to be organic and grass fed, like just had to be very mindful of what I was ingesting. And so during that time, I really improved my ability to prepare meals at home, because I could not eat out. I did not eat out from May of last year to March of this year. March of this year was the first time I ate out. And so I had to learn how to keep things interesting at home.
Wow. And it's amazing that came out of necessity.
Yeah.
Due to your health, because a lot of people don't have that external push to force them to do that, and so they tend to just go down the path of least resistance. Now, since
we all should have external pushes, because we all got financial goals that we haven't reached. Like even where I am as a financial educator, now that my health has significantly improved and I feel like myself again, I still have external goals, because now I want to buy my first short-term rental. And I'm putting together my down payment and my closing costs and everything for that. So any dollar that I spend, and so that, how do I do this so that I'm not touching my reserves that I've set aside for my business, because I have to pay people? So any dollar that, like, I'm saving all my money now for the down payment on the property I want to buy, so that I can go in there and just go ahead and put 25% down. So at any given time, you should have external goals that guide you to doing what you should do with your money.
Amen to that.
Strong they are. That depends on the person.
That does depend on the person. Now, you mentioned growing up in the South. I'm curious, with your Southern heritage, tell us about your first memory of money. And I'm really curious about this because you said both your parents were military. Mm-hmm. You're in the South, so I find it hard to believe that you stayed in the same place for your entire childhood with two military parents. I mean, if you did that, that's incredible. I want to know the trick there.
We didn't. Okay. I grew up in Germany, Oklahoma, and North Carolina.
Oh, and so you left that out. Carolina's finest, Fayetteville.
Yeah. Oh my mom retired from Fayetteville. I grew up in Charlotte. My parents retired. My dad, before we moved to from Oklahoma to North Carolina, my dad retired. Oh. So we got established in Charlotte. My mom was still at Fort Bragg.
Okay, rewind. I'm from Charlotte.
Oh, are you?
Yes, like born and raised. I left Charlotte in 2000-ish, I think. Yes, I left Charlotte in 2000.
You're a Charlottean.
I am a Charlottean.
What high school did you graduate from?
I went to West Charlotte High School.
Wait a minute.
Dub C.
You graduated in 2000?
No, I graduated in 98.
Oh, I graduated from Dub C.
Wait, okay, hold on.
Yeah, I'm class of 2002.
Okay. Oh, so were you there? No, you weren't there. You would have been still in middle school.
So we lived on the south side of town. We first moved to Charlotte, and then we moved to university.
Okay. So I grew up in Hampshire Hills. Putting all the business in the street. Don't go looking for me in Hampshire Hills. Yes, I grew up in Hampshire Hills, right around the corner from University area. Spent a lot of time in the University area.
W.C. Harris in the Plaza.
Off the Plaza. Yep, there you go. Oh, look at that. So when did you move? When did you move to Charlotte? How old were you?
I moved to Charlotte going into middle school, so 8th grade.
So where'd you go to middle school?
And I went to middle school at Carmel.
Okay, you went to Carmel.
We were living on the south side of town.
Yeah, I know where that is.
And it was a real culture shock for me. It was real culture shock. So even thinking about our money story, it goes back to that, because when we lived in Oklahoma, when my parents first told me we were moving to Oklahoma, I remember like, are there Black people that live there? Are there people like us? Like, I just thought about cowboys and Indians and tumbleweed and ranches, and it's there. It's there in Oklahoma. Yeah. Once you get outside of Oklahoma City, and I was the only sometimes, depending on what other military families had their children in school, I would be maybe one of 5 Black kids in the entire school. And early on, that led to the desire to belong. Mm-hmm. And so my first money story is I love boy sneakers. To this day, I love sneakers. Like I'm a sneakerhead.
You're a sneakerhead, okay.
I am. And I mean, you go to West Charlotte, you're a sneakerhead too.
Pretty much.
But I love sneakers, and I gotten some money for my birthday, and they were like these Air Force. They weren't Air Force Ones. They were like some really colorful Nikes that you probably would have seen on like Nickelodeon, all that or something. And I bought them with my own money. Like I saved up my money and I bought them. And that was the first thing I'd ever like done with my money. And I remember going to school after buying them. Everybody's like, "Oh, Tonya, those are so cool. Love your sneakers." And as someone who felt like an outsider, because I didn't share the same heritage as a lot of the kids, it made me feel accepted. And so that continued throughout my adulthood, and that continued throughout my adolescence. Anytime I had money, I was buying clothes. Dad, please buy me a starter jacket.
Had those too.
My first job that I got living in North Carolina, I was working at, anybody from North Carolina is familiar with Winn-Dixie. My very first job and was Winn-Dixie, and I bought my first paycheck. I bought a pair of Reebok Classics. But then the following year, when I transferred to school in Charlotte, I bought myself a pair of Air Jordan 3s, cements. That was like, so sneakers are very closely tied to my money story. But anytime I got money, I was buying shoes or buying things to have a sense of belonging.
That's an incredible money story. And I love how it continued with you until you had your own fabulous or fab wake up call. So I'm still just stuck on the fact that you're from Charlotte and graduated from West Charlotte. And so my sister that found you, invited you to the podcast, Saida, she of course is from Charlotte as well. She went to Northwest though, so she didn't have the ability to go to West Charlotte like we did. She wasn't that fortunate. Actually, no. 9, 10, 11, 12. Because West Charlotte added 9th grade.
I didn't go to West Charlotte until my 10th grade year. I went to 9th grade at South Mech.
Oh, you went to, okay. I'm familiar with South Mech. I had some good friends at South Mech as well. I was in the Upward Bound program at Johnson C. Smith. So there were lots of students from all the different high schools that we all kind of grew up together in 4 years in that program. So yeah, I had a pretty wide reach across Charlotte. Did not work at Winn-Dixie though. I did work at Hannaford's for a little while. But
there's a Hannaford in Charlotte?
Yeah, I think it's Hannaford. Yeah, that's Hannaford's. Used to be. It's not anymore. It was up in University.
You mean Harris Teeter?
No, I don't mean Harris Teeter. No, they put there was one in University Center. I also worked in the movie theater, University Center. That's where I worked for the longest time. The Carmike Cinemas, the little sixplex by the lake, behind the Hilton on W.T. Harris and Tryon.
There's a movie theater over there?
See, I'm telling my age. There was. It shut down in 97. Yeah, you weren't over there yet. Yeah, it shut down in 97 because they built the Starlight Theater and then the AMC Stadium.
Yeah, by the time I got there, it was Starlight.
Yeah. Your Starlight was the spot. We used to hang out at Starlight all the time.
This is a walk down Charlatans Lane.
I know,
right?
Those of
you who are listening.
And for those that are listening, go a couple of episodes back. I have my good friend Chris Moxley on, who is one of the founders of the 704 Shop. As someone who likes clothes, I don't know if you've been to the 704 Shop or got any of their gear. Okay, see, now I'm playing to your vices now. There is a 704 shop, and they have all 704 gear. And one of their classics that's my favorite is they have two sweatshirts in two colors. It's like taupe brown color and a pink, and it just says Charlotte in cursive right across it.
I got to go check that out. I'm definitely hometown proud. And now, it's interesting because no matter how much money you make, you're going to have vices. If you're a certain type of person who is a spender, and I'm a spender by nature. And so I have vices. But one of the good things about making better financial decisions is now I can use my finances. I know what my responsibilities are, and I prioritize my responsibilities. And then I'm able to do things that I enjoy doing, whether it is supporting small businesses, whether it is buying sneakers. Sneakers are my thing. I like things. And that's why my brand is called My Fab Finance. It's called My Fab Finance for a reason, because I also, I like things. I like traveling.
So what's the latest pair of sneakers you bought?
The last pair of sneakers I bought were the Pine Green Air Jordan 1s. I missed the drop. So I did buy those from StockX, which has an incredibly disappointing markup. I did I watched them for a while until the price dipped and then grabbed them then. So that's the last pair of sneakers I bought because money green. Like I gotta have a pair of green.
I hear you.
Ones.
I hear you. I'm holding out for some let's see, I believe it's some 11s that are dropping. It's either 13s or 11. I can't even remember right now. It's in my calendar though. They're dropping in August. And they are the Hornets color.
Oh.
So I'm gonna play the lottery and see what happens. And I hope that I don't have to go to StockX and pay that 2x to 3x premium.
All I gotta say is if you don't get them, just get them the day of. Get them the day of. Do not wait. There's a pair of, I brought the blue, the great Jordans.
Oh yes.
I brought those probably like maybe within a month of them dropping. I think I paid maybe $340 for those. Today they're going for $1,200 on StockX.
Wow. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. So don't wait.
I did for one of my classes, I was doing a middle school class, and I did an illustration for them, and I went back and looked at if you purchased the equivalent of the cost of a pair of Jordans in Nike stock on the day that the Jordans first dropped, to show them how much money they would have today.
Yeah, I love that.
It was enough to buy Jordans for the whole classroom and then some.
I love that analysis. I mean, and that's why I do want to caution and say when people, like when I talk about buying my sneakers and things like that, I do not buy a pair of shoes from StockX or anything of that nature until I've invested in my stock portfolio, until I put money in my savings, until I covered all my overhead. And even some of the wants. Right now, we have a sizable lawn project going on. So it's like we aren't buying anything for a while because this lawn is costing us all types of money. So yeah, but I love the idea of like investing. Like last night, every week I try to buy some crypto. So last night I bought some Ethereum and some Litecoin and some more Bitcoin since it's dipped. But I'll interchange that before I buy sneakers and stuff. So it is important to think about ways you can make your money work for you, because if you're wearing sneakers, they're not going to appreciate. They're not. So just ways you can make your money appreciate and work for you.
Indeed. Well, another hometown hero on the Money Script podcast. I'm just going to get everybody from Charlotte on the Money Script podcast. Now it's just happening organically, which I absolutely love. Tonya, please tell everyone where they can find you and MyFab Finance.
Yeah, MyFab Finance. We're uniformly branded on all platforms. So MyFab Finance on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We have our text line set up, Wealthy Text. So that's Wealthy Text with an S at the end.com, where you can sign up to get text messages from us, where we just kind of send you money motivation, tips that I'm learning, or reminders to help you stay on top of your game financially. And then I have my personal platform, which is Tonya.Rapley or TonyaRapley.com. And that's more so about me as an entrepreneur. Me and my husband purchased a company in 2019. We acquired a company. So we've been growing that company and making decisions to increase the value of it and expand our user base. So that company is called Club Lufa. And so I document that journey there, as well as being a mom to a toddler.
And you have a toddler. You just don't like free time, do you?
Oh, I love free time. I also have a wonderful nanny because life design is important. And before I had my son, I knew that I wanted in-house support with him. So we have a nanny that lives with us who is with my son from 9 to 6. And so most of the time what I'll do is like I have days where I schedule work, and then I have days where I have like free time. Like today I'm going on vacation next week. So today I went and got my nails done and did a few things I needed to do. So that's my free time.
And hopped on a podcast with the Money Script. Well, thank you.
Hopped on a podcast.
Thank you for taking some time for us. You have a wonderful trip, and maybe I'll see you in Charlotte sometime soon.
Absolutely.
Take care. Follow and give us 5 stars. Continue to send your financial questions on Twitter or Instagram at The Money Script. Go to moneyscriptwealth.com and schedule your complimentary consultation to discuss your specific goals and concerns. Financial advisory and investment management services are offered by Money Script Wealth Management PLLC, a registered investment advisory firm registered in the state of Texas and California and other states where exempt. The Money Script LLC and the Money Script Wealth Management PLLC and guests of the episode may have interest in the investments mentioned today. The opinions and views are expressed here are for informational purposes only. This material is educational in nature and should not be deemed as a solicitation for any specific product or service. All investments involve risk and a significant loss of principal. The Money Script nor Money Script Wealth Management offer tax or legal advice. Please consult your tax advisor or attorney for specific advice about your situation. Until next time.